good morning, dear ones. Robert Brzezinski with you. It is May 19th. Oh my gosh. Let's see. This started on March 18th, April, 2 months. 2 months. It's been a while, folks. There's a lot of videos of these. And I personally, I'm in love with where my life is at this point after 2 months. You've all been following along. You've been following along the evolution of this program and the way things have changed and the way things have moved and what's going on in the world. And there's no question in my mind that the power of prayer has been active and supporting each one of us through this entire experience. The more I sink into this deep, deep practice, and I tell you, a lot of my friends and colleagues are still applauding the fact that I'm here twice a day, every day, 8:15 a.m., 8:15 p.m. Mountain time. Well, at least that time, almost all the time. Occasionally, there's a concert that I have to go to, and evening prayers get pushed off. But 8:15 a.m. been here all along. And the cool part is there's now, if you're even an earlier riser, and I know there's a couple of you in here right now that are in the other program as well, started a new project, new program, Activate Your Soul's Purpose, 21-day journey of enlightenment. We started yesterday. There is still room if you would like to join us. Just do a search on Facebook for that title, Activate Your Soul's Purpose, 21-day journey of enlightenment, and we'll get you caught up and get you in. We're going to close that group in another day or so here and no longer talk about it. So if you want to get started and join us, or if you know somebody that would really benefit by this, please invite them to check it out. The beautiful part is, it's presented live, but it's a private group. So it's not like somebody can just stumble upon it and come wandering in there. What we share in there is sacred and private. It won't go anywhere. You can't share anything out from that group out into the larger Facebook environment. So your sharing is private and confidential within the group. And you can watch the video at any time. You don't have to be with us at 7 a.m. in the morning. You can do this at any time that fits for you, a 45-minute practice, and already receiving some good comments on that. So please consider joining us for that. And remember, we are all about the power of spiritual mind treatment. Now, this is not begging and beseeching God to deliver something unto me that it wouldn't turn. Our whole process is about entering into an affirmative consciousness, a consciousness where we allow the revelation of God's truth to happen through us, where we allow ourselves to affirm the good we desire for ourselves and for the world. And we do that through a very specific process. So it may not always sound that way, but believe me, there is a method to all this wonderful wildness that we call spiritual mind treatment. So if you would like to get your treatment involved, if you'd like to get a treatment, or if you have a desire that you'd like us to include in this program, by all means, reach out and let me know this. And I want to give a shout out to Suzanne, who is normally with us. I don't know if you're on so far already this morning, Suzanne, but Suzanne is always with us and quite a bit. She sent in a prayer request. I'm going to work on that today, and I'll be working on that prayer and adding it to our session this morning. And if you'd like to sit down and have maybe a little bit more of a deeper conversation around what's going on in your life and how the power of a spiritual mind treatment, the power of prayer and spiritual practice may benefit you during this time, by all means, please reach out to me and we'll get you a session scheduled. And first one's always complimentary. Okay. Let's get into it a little bit here this morning. And good morning, Cynthia. Good to see you, and Ursula as well. Glad that you're with us this morning also, dear one. Morning prayers. And Linda. Thank you for being with us, Linda. Glad you're here this morning. This new program really has me up early in the morning. I'm really jazzed because I've already had a good 45-minute practice and time in my journal, and I'm on my second or maybe third cup of tea. Not sure yet, but the more I invest in serving and being of service through spiritual practices, through spiritual principles, the more I am being rewarded in my life. There's no question about it. That's how this thing works. That's how the power that is God operates. It is a reciprocal and a beneficial universe. So what we're going to do here is jump into some prayer. And I want to do something a little fun today as well. I'm going to share a little bit of background music with us. Go over here. And you should be able to hear that in the background just a little bit. I'm going to invite you to join me in a morning prayer. So if you're comfortable, close your eyes. Allow yourself to turn within. And come to recognize God. No matter the name, no matter the image, join in a recognition of God, the one. One power, one presence, one infinite intelligence that is right now operating as all of life. Set aside the morning, set aside what it's taken to be here. Set aside any concerns for what comes next or what this day holds or what you have to do or what you don't want to do. Set all that to the side. It'll still be here later if you want to pick it up again. You may not want. And come to know the one. Join in a deep, deep recognition of the one life, God's life. A deep recognition that that life is absolutely perfect, whole, complete. There's nothing missing, nothing absent from the life of God. God is the wholeness, the allness, the oneness, the Alpha and the Omega. God is this entire universe and beyond, into the known, into the unknown, the space between the space, the thing and the no thing. The immensity of God is beyond the human comprehension. For if we could comprehend where God ends, then we would comprehend that there was something beyond God, and there's nothing beyond God. There is this oneness, this allness. It is one power, one infinitely renewable vibration, one infinitely shifting consciousness, oneness that takes on form and abandons that form in order to take on new form. One self-existent cause expressing itself into the world through and as human life, through and as all life. So I know there is one God. That God is perfect. That God is alive within me right now, living as my life right now. And so I know that my life is an absolute reflection of the perfection that is God's life, a reflection of the perfectness, the wholeness, the oneness, the connectedness, the divine. And if that's true of my life, then it must be true of all life. So I recognize that truth of the lives of each one that are here this morning, each one that hear these words now or at another time. I recognize the divine wholeness that is within each and every one. You are a divine expression of the one. You are whole and complete and perfect, nothing missing, nothing absent from your life. regardless of any appearances, regardless of any perceptions. I claim for each one that hears these words the opportunity to remember that there is nothing absent in the mind of God. There is only the totality of abundance. There is only the allness of life, and every part of life is well supplied, well cared for, abundantly supplied. I recognize the oneness of life that moves and has its being in my life, in your life, in all life, expressing itself into the world in this moment, in every experience, every expression. And I bring to mind our dear Suzanne. I claim for her a sense of letting go of whatever it is that's happening in her life and moving into a place of knowing that there is no such thing other than God, other than the one, other than the wholeness of her life. And so I claim for Suzanne a deep experience of recognizing that whatever it is that is happening in her world, in her life right now, is bringing her to a greater expression, a greater experience of God's love, a greater sense of the connection, of the deep, deep inner sense of God's life as her life. And anything that is unlike that perfection, I claim for Suzanne, a sense of just letting it go, just letting it dissipate and dissolve back into the nothingness from whence it came. I see Suzanne as an absolute expression of the divine, whole and complete in her magnificence, healthy, wealthy, wise, abundant, prosperous, joyous. And so I am grateful for the healing that is happening within and as Suzanne's life right now, no matter where that healing occurs. The mental level, emotional level, the spiritual level, the physical level. There is the oneness revealing itself as Suzanne's life, as all life. And so I claim for each one that hears these words, that same recognition, that the perfection of God's life is revealing through each one of us right now, and it cannot be stopped. It cannot be diverted. We can't even get in our own way, folks, because God will find a way. God always finds the way. And in that, I sense that deep, deep truth that God is right now finding a way through and as my life, that right now God is finding its way through these words, through my experience, through what comes next in my day, through all of it. It is not I that must find the way. It is I that affirm the way is clear. And I follow the inspired action. I follow the whisper, the nudge, sometimes even the kick in the pants. That is God guiding me into my greatness, into my magnificence, into whatever it is I'm here to share and experience this day. So I am thrilled for what this day shall bring. Because I know it's God. No matter what, it must be good, because it must be God, and it could be no other way. So I am grateful for what comes next, for what's already occurred, for all the good that's happening, most especially grateful to know that God's got this. That this day and all that it holds is a glorious expression of God's life, and there's nothing I need to do or say or be or become in order to be the conduit through which God expresses. I get to revel in it and enjoy it and witness the miracle that is God's life manifesting as my life right now. And so from that grateful heart, I release this word into the law that must say yes, that in fact is already operating upon this prayer. I release the word into the law and I let it be. Get myself out of the way, I let go, and I let God be God. And if any of this has resonated in any way, please join in a giant affirmation of this truth with me as we say together, and so it is. And so it is. So grateful to be with you, folks. So much fun to be with you. Hello, Diane in Tucson. Good seeing you here this morning. Ursula throwing in a good so it is. Glad to know you got the gratitude going on this morning, Ursula. I'm just in love with life. I'm in love with how it shows up every day. I'm in love with the amazingness and the miracle that is happening in my life, in my world, every day, every time I turn around. There's just more and more good. So why not check out the good news? Weekly podcast, 15, 20 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. I think this week's episode just went up today. This week's episode, I believe, is about 12 minutes. And now the good news. New episodes every week. Check them out. I think you'll enjoy that stuff. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a good look at some of the positive news stories that have made their way across my desk in the week. Not so much the other ones. And New Thought Radio, positively inspiring tunes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We are making leaps and bounds with what's happening in New Thought Radio. So I invite you to check it out. We've got a new website coming out pretty soon as well. So, all right, folks, I got a few more and so it is. And thank yous in here. Cynthia, good seeing you this morning, dear one. Valerie, welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you're with us. Please come back and join us again. Laura Lee, good seeing you, dear one. Always fun to see you when you're with us. Folks, it's a great, glorious opportunity right now. Right this second. As soon as I hit, even before I hit end, there's something great and glorious coming your way. And I want you to know that. I want you to look for it. And I want you to celebrate it. And I invite you to join us again, 8:15 p.m. Mountain Time, 8:15 a.m. Mountain Time, every day of the week for the foreseeable future. I love you. I'll see you again in the morning. Peace and blessings. Until then, go forth and prosper.